talk a little bit about fertilizer and what the numbers on the bag mean so that you can know what you're shopping for. And when someone is recommending a product to you or a treatment strategy, you know what it is that they're suggesting. So the fertilizer bag will always have 3 numbers across the front, typically with a dash between. And this label here that we're looking at is 10, 10, 10. That's the same product that we used last week to fertilize the Bermuda in the backyard. And what those numbers mean, they are literally a percentage of the bag. So 10% of what's in this bag is nitrogen, 10% of what's in this bag is phosphorus, and 10% of what's in this bag is potassium. Now this label here is a 50-pound bag, so 10% of 50 pounds is 5 pounds. So the 10s make it easy to work with for math and understanding the concept. So we have 5 pounds of nitrogen, 5 pounds of phosphorus, and 5 pounds of potassium. Now there are further conversions that go for the phosphorus and the potassium, but we don't need to worry about those right now. We can get into those later. So we know that this 50-pound bag, which is 10% nitrogen, contains 5 pounds of nitrogen in the whole bag. So that means if you want to apply 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet of lawn, then this bag will cover 5,000 square feet. And this same principle applies to all fertilizers. So it's important to know how large your area is before you're going to fertilize it. There's several ways of measuring, simple rectangle and square shapes, very simple, length times width. If you have curvatures or other odd angles, it can get a little more complicated, but it is still simple geometry, not difficult. There are other ways of obtaining a measurement as well. There's an excellent website that Sod Solutions has, so go to areacalculator.sodsolutions.com. You can plug in your address here, and let's just put, we'll just put Atlanta, Georgia, and just see what comes up. And then here, you just zoom in somehow. Control, we hold down Control to zoom in. And let's see what we got here. So looks like a golf course. Here we go, and we'll do a really irregular shape. This looks like a putting green or a practice green here maybe. So we use this little hatch mark, the plus sign. We go around and just click the mouse and it'll drop a pin, and you just go all around the outside of this and keep clicking, and it's going to circle this whole area in. And you can do as many of these as you want or need based on your shape, and it's going to give you a pretty accurate idea of the square footage. Now if you have a lot of terrain going uphill and downhill, it's not quite as accurate because you're not getting the change in surface area up and down, but it's a very good useful tool for most lawns. And you can still do an in-person measurement when you're on the site, but this gives you a good idea of what it is that you're looking at. And that's all there is to it. So we've got that area mapped out. We come over here and scroll down, and right here is our area. So this tells us we've got 6,446 square feet. That's the size of this putting green here. And so try this website out. Just put in your home address, come here and see what you've got. Back to the fertilizer, we know that our area is 1,500 square feet. So we know here we've got 5 pounds of nitrogen in this whole 50-pound bag, and we wanted to apply last week 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet, and that's with the 1,500 square feet. So that means that every 10 pounds of this product is going to contain 1 pound of nitrogen. So we put out 15 pounds of 10-10-10 fertilizer, and that's going to deliver 1.5 pounds of nitrogen total to the lawn, which equals 1 pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. Now what we're going to use today is 4600, just pure nitrogen, but the same principle applies. So this again is a 50-pound bag that we're looking at, containing only nitrogen, no phosphorus and potassium, and 46% of this bag is nitrogen. So let's go to our calculator. We've got a 50-pound bag, and what we want to do is multiply that by 46%. And that's going to give us 23 pounds of nitrogen. So we know that in that whole bag there are 23 pounds of nitrogen. And then if we want to find out how much actual product we need to use, we take that 50 pounds, let's clear this out. We take the 50-pound bag and we divide it by 23. And that tells us that in every 2.17 pounds of this product, there is 1 pound of nitrogen. So we want to do, today we're only going to do a half a pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet. So that's only going to be a total of 0.75 pounds of nitrogen. So let's see what we got there. Since we're only applying half a pound of nitrogen per 1,000 square feet today, for our 1,500 square foot lawn, we don't even need a full pound. We just need 0.75 pounds of nitrogen. So knowing that this number right here, this 2.17 pounds of product contains 1 pound of nitrogen. So what we want to do is multiply that by 0.75 or 75%. And that's going to yield us with 1.63 pounds of fertilizer to deliver 0.75 pounds of nitrogen to this 1,500 square foot lawn area. So what we're going to do today, this particular fertilizer I'm working with, it can be spread as a granule or it can also be dissolved in water and spray applied. So we're just going to use a backpack sprayer and fill it with 3 gallons. And we're going to measure out 1.63 pounds of this product, dissolve it in the backpack sprayer, and apply it evenly over our lawn. And usually spraying at about 1 gallon per 1,000 square feet of water. So it'll probably be going over twice, smoothly and evenly, and we'll go in different directions and make sure we get good coverage. We've got our 4600 here, we've got our scale, we've got our container on it zeroed out, and then let's switch over to pounds. There we go, and we needed 1.63 pounds of fertilizer. Almost a pound. And since a pound is 16 ounces, 1.63 pounds is going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 pound and 10 ounces. So we'll just go with that. There we go. And then that's going to go right in our backpack here. Then we'll fill this with 3 gallons of water and we're ready to spray. We're going to fill up to the 3 gallon mark right here. And that number is somewhat arbitrary. It's just a nice round one. Since we have 1,500 square feet, we can do, that's going to give us 2 gallons of liquid per 1,000 square feet delivery rate. That delivery rate can be 1 gallon per 1,000. It can be half a gallon per 1,000. It can even be a third or a quarter of a gallon per 1,000, just depending on how your system is calibrated. The more it's diluted, the more margin for error you have. So going in a 1 to 2 gallon per 1,000 square feet gives you a lot of wiggle room as far as misapplication or over application, less chance of causing a problem. All right, that's close enough. So this fertilizer dissolves pretty easily, but we still want to give this a really good shake just to make sure that it is completely dissolved and that there's no clumps in the bottom. If there are clumps, they'll get sucked straight into the pump mechanism and clog it up. You're gonna have to stop and restart. Our nozzle's clogged.